Take a vape, my vaping son. Make sure that K-Fun's filled up. Did you wrap that nickel wire? No dry hits, no mo. Welcome everybody to tonight's Plumes of Hazards. I'm MassBlast09, and all around me we got Understudy 77, Fubaka, and the Angstful Vapor. What's happening, y'all?
So,
what's up, everybody?
You know what's up?
You know what's up?
What?
That
Chip games? Hashtag cheap games.
Guacamole game.
Guacamole. Potato camera game.
Yeah, major potato camera game going on.
Just Foo or everybody?
No, just Foo.
Word.
Camera does not like him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that kind of potato.
So how is everybody?
I thought we were talking about his potato chip potatoes.
No, dude, these are tortillas.
I had me some tortilla chips myself tonight. They were tasty.
Oh, it looks like it was just a focus issue. Drink.
Focus.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing all right. I'm excited for a hostful.
Yes.
Excited for a hostful.
They're always nice and laid back and chill and wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Could do a little better job of like watching the chat.
Yeah.
It's always good. At least trying to in the shitty chat. Shitty chat.
Should we jump right into what we're vaping on? What do you got, Foo?
I got Wubblicious from Crew Juice, the Purple Titan. Oh, there's one on my chest too. Got a new tip for it, and that stuff is good if you like watermelon Bubblicious.
It tastes exactly like watermelon Bubblicious.
And it's a very light, like not overpowering watermelon Bubblicious. So
yeah, it didn't hit you in the face. The only problem with me though is after vaping it last night, I had to wash my Addy out today because I couldn't. Everything I dripped on top of it, it didn't matter. All I tasted was bubblegum.
But that's solid. I picked up. I was in Maryland over the weekend. I stopped in the Vape Dojo, grabbed some more pistachio RY4 to feed my Odin.
Mm-hmm.
I like that pistachio RY4, the Charlie Noble, and the Crew Juice is Big Lou's juice.
Mm-hmm.
Boner Soze.
Big Lou East Coast Review.
Raspberry and Sean's K-Fun.
Oh.
You still haven't transferred it to your own K-Fun?
Fuck no.
It's Sean's K-Fun.
Dude,
So he comes down here and he gets here and he goes, fuck, I forgot a K-Fun. I'm like, you can use one of my K-Funs.
I rebuilt mine and left it on my table Wednesday.
So he builds my K-Fun, he uses it for a day, and the next day he goes, just so you know, I'm taking this back to New York with me.
Yeah, I need something to vape while I'm driving. Can't drip.
I'm like, all right, man, that's fine.
You need to get yourself a squonker, man.
I've been contemplating it.
Or a flunker.
Mm-hmm. A flunker.
For that
Flunker.
game.
Does that count? Does that count as a flask, Mazzy?
The flunker? We need to get a different sound bit for that, for the squonker
Yeah.
flask. Maybe like underwater or something. But sure, it does.
We haven't had a good one in a while. Thank you for pulling that up.
Squonking through the universe.
Yeah. Is that your setups there, Foo?
Yeah.
Or, I have got in the Aeolus, on the Catalyst box, I have Stashy Liquids Lushington, In the Zero and the Ubertut, I have, of course, raspberry mint. And on the flask, I've got a new Addy we're going to talk about here pretty quick. And inside here is Brown Betty.
Oh, Brown Betty.
Bam Balam.
It's pretty simple.
Sean is sleeping.
I have the Zero with the green Zero Pimp sleeve, with the Ubertoot with raspberry mint, and that's it tonight.
Doo-doo.
What do you got?
Got him.
Ruby's modifying the drinking game rules. She says flonker counts as drink.
Flonker.
Fair.
Flonker.
Anything counts as drink. I got the Flonker Flask, Flonker, with my recently modified Derringer bottom fed, and I have Stashy liquids in there with PB&J, my favorite go-to when I'm doing testing, and then I have on the SX Mini, I got the insane Kennedy with this competition top cap.
Kennedy.
I also have PB&J in there.
Hey, Brian, talk for a minute.
I'm talking for a minute right about now.
You need to refresh. It's not actually triggering your sound and pulling your picture up.
Those bastards.
Bum, bum, bum. As he leaves.
I saw them just fine.
Yeah, I saw him too.
For me, it's not pulling him up, though, so that means... that
Oh, you think it's not showing it? Well, just ask
Just
chat.
construct additional pylons.
Hey, chat.
We
When
mostly
Brian talks, do you guys say him?
He's fixed that.
Yes, so I'll talk for a minute, and everybody can say, "Yay, I see you." Then again, maybe they don't care, so who knows?
It's working now. You're good.
All right, good.
That's excellent.
Egg salad. Squonking. Squonking.
Egg salad.
Egg
To
salad.
the peeps in Baltimore, man.
Ubertoots.
Stay safe.
Yeah, man. I'm not far from there at all. I know a lot of people who live in Baltimore, and it's pretty brutal. They just called in the National Guard to break things up. Some people lit a CVS on fire and then cut the water lines. The fire
While the firefighters were trying to put it out, they
cut
ran
the
up
lines so the
and
firefighters couldn't put it out.
cut the
Bunch of dicks.
Yeah.
That'll show those mean old cops. Let's burn our own infrastructure.
And Baltimore's a very packed city, so everything's really close. So one fire can spread really fast to a lot of buildings.
Yeah.
You could take down full neighborhoods in a matter of hours. So I think everybody around here is a little bit worried at the moment.
Massey, we're getting calls to do the tech time, that Derringer you modified.
Oh yeah. We can do that. We can do that. We can do that next time.
It's called 1-900 Mass Blast.
We will text. We will text and we will tech time.
One man more minute.
So what do we have in vaping related news past the somber Baltimore stuff? What do you got, Phil?
I guess we should. Yeah, let them chew. I guess we should also preface that by doing the whole you modify at your own risk, because
yeah. You fuck up your Derringer. You fucked up your Derringer.
Things that you're gonna need for next week's tech time: voiding your warranty, which I don't even know if there's one.
You can buy a shirt that says "I void warranties."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That makes it okay.
You need 6 pins for the Derringer.
You need a drill press, because it's one of these. Oh yeah, my cousin little Bob back in the back with the drill. He can no. You want to use a drill press, and shoot, I'll put up the drill bits that I bought that I was pretty happy with. I mean, it was a pack of like 20 fucking drill bits for like $6.
What?
Yeah.
Was it that Harbor Freight swag?
No, it was off of Amazon. It was really good.
Yeah.
They had really good reviews, so I'm like, hey, why the hell not? You know, it's $6 for. Actually, it might have even been less than that, but it drilled through that stainless like it was nothing. So
Hmm.
I'm sure if you have, you know, some Chinesium, it'll drill through that easily too. So
So Chinese.
that's clone metal, bro.
Is the new one stainless pin? Because mine's brass.
Yeah, it's brass. I got a stainless pin to do it though.
Oh,
I bought
right.
it separate. Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah,
if that was different because you got the 1.2, right? Or do you have the one? You have the version 1.
Yeah, version 1. Version 1 does have brass.
Yeah.
And it has the brass, and then it's got a stainless whatever hex on the top.
Right.
So is that the technical term, Chinesium?
Yes, it
I think
is.
so.
Okay.
Because
A new addition
we'll
to the current table.
we'll get into that later. You know, because everything that comes from overseas is made in China, and it's a clone.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't work like anything else. It doesn't look like anything else.
Nope.
It's just a clone.
Yep.
So noted.
Noted. Duly noted.
I happen to be wearing clone slippers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
Have a
barefoot.
clone
I'm clone.
phone.
I am also barefoot.
What about that cologne? Haha. From Cologne.
From Cologne.
Oh no! Stop! Stop!
Stop it.
Stop it, Foo.
Why do people watch this shit? I don't get it. Did I get you mid vape? Sorry.
Hey, Foo, what you got for news? How about that?
Um,
I'll bring us back to order.
I really like this Wobblicious so far. I've been vaping it for a few hours. I haven't cracked in any of the other flavors. I've been really enjoying that one. Yeah, I was at the Vapors Knoll in Pasadena, Maryland over the weekend. It was a 3-year anniversary party. Me and the High Horse himself hosted it, or emceed it. It was mostly Sean. And then I judged a cloud comp. It was good times. It was living in vapor times.
It was
Yes.
good times.
It was good times. We can't live in vapor though.
I thought you couldn't live in vapor.
We can't.
No, it was.
I mean, I lived in it for as long as I could, but then I just couldn't.
We hit the limit, and once we hit the limit of living in vapor, we went out for breakfast at 2:00 in the morning.
Nice. Hit a Waffle House?
No, we hit a little diner that's here.
Oh, all right.
I think it was the second time we went there that day because we were there for breakfast, and 2 in the morning it was our only real solid option for food.
Right.
So I was correct, Angsty. Just before I forget, the version 2 of the
Mhm.
Derringer does come with the stainless
Right.
center
Right.
post.
That's why I didn't know if you had 1 or 2.
Yeah. No, I have the one, but I got the
Chewbacca's
stainless.
nipple in chat. I wonder who that is.
Mhm.
Someone who
It's
wants
good.
the nip.
Yeah, it was a good party. The guy who won the $1,000 prize, I'm kind of glad won because Matt Cully from Suck My Mod. You know Matt Cully, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mac from Suck My Mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, do you mean wasn't he going to come on for a special guest spot?
I thought so.
I mean, I was there. Oh wait, my face is lined up. There we go. Ah!
That's just
So
horrible.
basically,
Creepy with the mouth.
John
But
was
y'all gotta
baking
copy
his zero, and Fu was eating chips, and
But yeah, so the guy who won is using the money to fix his dad's car, which is really
The guy that won's using the money to fix his dad's car, which is horse shit.
I'm sorry. Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Alright.
shit.
I'll go back to my regularly broadcasted. Here we go.
Batmast.
That nest. The motto that we deserve.
Met Kurt from CCI, who is a lot less of a dick in person.
Yo, he looks like he could be what's his name's like brother,
he absolutely looks like Sam Hamilton's brother.
The little high horse little brother.
man. So what is it? Is the Sam Hamilton look like a broke ass Kurt? Or the other way around?
basically, Kurt. So Sam's little high horse. Kurt's bro horse.
That's fair.
Ringo just said, "Who broke Nick's neck?"
Love you, Kurt.
But yeah, him and Matt and Fu judged the cloud comp, raffles throughout the day. It was just kind of a chill weekend, and it was really nice to just kind of hang out. And
It was historic, says Kurt. For the first time in his cloud comp judging history, me and Matt Cully overruled it.
yeah,
Hashtag Brown delegation.
except for Matt, who's probably more white than all three people combined.
Oh, yeah. It's not making a difference, Sean.
But yeah, it was a fun event. A lot of people came out. A few people came out from quite a ways away. To anybody who made it out, thank you guys. It was a lot of fun getting a chance to hang out and say hello to a whole bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Those little events, like shop events, are always fun because they're a little bit more quiet.
Quiet.
It was packed though, right? Like, because Labrat came down and I mean, what did he say about it? He said it felt like a convention that was just a little bit smaller. Than
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause there was probably 200 or 300 people there. It was busy, but it was a good time. There was a lot of good videos and stuff that came out of that I might have to take, like Kurt dressing up like Rip Trippers. And blowing clouds, that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He also farted in my hat, douchebag. And then Matt pulls a complete 180 from what
Matt just nods.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Matt pulls a complete 180 from what I thought, and I go upstairs to see my wife, and he's on my computer and logs into my Facebook and says something about me liking dicks. Which I wouldn't expect from Matt Colley. I'm just
No, that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, when I bitched him out about it, he's like, "Look, guys, you guys stole my face. That's significantly worse." Kurt, I will say, had the worst gas in the fucking world. To a point that when we left dinner, he ripped one outside, and 3 people came out. One covered his nose, and the other one said, "That's fucking disgusting," and walked around the area to his car, like refused to walk through it. It was bad.
Smog Chasers, Inc.
Seriously.
That's all I have to say about that.
Mm. You got any other news, Fu, besides that guy?
Those chips are really good, but yeah, I'm good.
He's basking in the chipness.
Word. I actually had a little bit of vape mail come in this week. So, due to one of Sean's deals, wheeling and dealings, he got a sleeve for a Zero that he let go to me, which is awesome. I'm going to show it because it's freaking sweet. It's kind of like this. It's a brass patina. It's got like this like dark slatey business going on with a little bit of blue flecks here and there, and I freaking love it. It looks awesome. I'm really excited about it. Wow. So now my Zero doesn't look all quote unquote boring and stock.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's so bad.
Right. It's so terrible having a Zero with a normal sleeve on it.
It is.
I was
It is.
really happy with it, but now I have a sleeve and it's even cooler. I also got in today a set of drip tips. So
Sleeveless Zero.
yeah, right. You would think, right, if I was going to be consistent. Whoa, nicely done.
Come in.
I am so glad. As much as I love all the people that I meet in vaping, I am so glad that all of you are back behind a computer screen. That's what I told Kurt when he was leaving. I said, "Man, I like you. I'd be happy to fucking hang out with you on Google anytime, but I hope we're not in person again soon because you're in a fucking clear room."
You need to get him some of that underwear that's got the pads in it, so you can fly. Fucking
Nice.
CCI edition, right on the butt. CCI.
So, like a year and a half ago, I was rocking my Vamo and a Gen 1 Pro tank and all that stuff. And when I got online, I started getting more involved in the community. I saw some random link somewhere about this guy named Omen, and he did custom drip tips, and I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And they made them in titanium. I'm like, holy shit, I love titanium. I need to get some drip tips. So I hit him up and we talked a little bit, and I ordered some drip tips, and I was going to show them to you because one of them I had made specifically for the Pro Tank 2 when that came out. That was this little curvy guy over here.
Oh, rib for Angsty's pleasure.
Rib for my pleasure. Anyway, so he sent these guys, and I loved them for a really long time. And then I got into K-Funds, and I was like, hey, I need a new drip tip just for my K-Fund. So I called him up, and I had him send this little guy out, and this was, for the longest time, a very favorite drip tip. Super stubby, matches the top cap of the K-Fund perfectly. And then I haven't really talked to him. It's been several months that I didn't hit him up because I had these great drip tips, and they work great. But just recently, we've been doing some reviewing, and we've been buying some additional stuff, and I needed some drip tips. So I've been pretty happy with the Derringer one, and I've been using that on a lot of things, but that's just because I had it from the Derringer. But recently, I went and I hit him up and I talked to him and asked him to make me a couple more. And I was going to show them to you because they're really cool. So this guy is this giant. Oh wait, I zoomed myself out so I didn't freak anybody out, make them drink. So let me zoom back in so you can see this guy. So this guy looks like the other one, right? Except for it's massive bore. So I can use this guy on some various things. It looks really good on the Gigantor Goliath. But these two I'm really happy with. So for drippers, also went really wide bore, and he's got one that's been insulated by Delrin. Titanium on the bottom, and it looks pimp on the Aeolus. Looks really, really good. And then this guy also came in today, so he sent this one for my toot. And it's got a little cutout there, and it kind of looks like this guy, and it kind of looks like the stock Ubertoot tip, except for it's not ugly. One of the very few things I don't like about the Ubertoot is the stock drip tip. But this guy is also wide, so we can still use it for many things. But it looks really good on it. I really like it. Anyway, so I've been using these guys today, and I'm very happy to have some new Omen gear, which I'm pleased about. Zooming out. Okay. Omen drip tips, badass. He'll make you whatever you want. He's got all sorts of acrylics and colors and whatever. He told me that I needed to branch out. He said this black and titanium thing is not very flaring, stylish, whatever.
Make me a titanium Bigglesworth.
Yeah, that he would, and that would be expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
But that brings up, that's a good point. I'm glad you said that, because the reason I went out looking for something like this is because you guys, you and Ruby and some other people have been saying you need to get a dot mod tip. I'm like, okay, they look really cool. So I pulled up the page, and A, they were out of stock in the first place I looked at, and B, they were $25. And I was like, $25. So I was like, I should talk to Brett. So I hit up Brett. So the things like this. So even in titanium, a big freaking awesome titanium styled however you want. Send him a sketch or just describe it to him. He'll cut it however you want. But it's $25. It's the same price. I would much rather have that made by a friend of mine than one that's off the shelf that other people have. And then these guys, the ones that are hybridy ones, are a little bit more. I think they're $35.
Something thrift shop.
Yes, something thrift. But that's the thing is, I really don't know why. I mean, but personally, I wouldn't pay $25 for a drip tip. That's just.
Oh, I totally see. I totally see that.
Yeah, no big deal.
I think I need to hit a Omen myself.
You should. I fully think that you would be happy with them, especially because they're like I said, he's got a majillion of them. Go to his Facebook group, Omen B Mods, I think it is, and there's lots of pictures on there.
I'll get a link for chat for you.
Oh, thanks. That's actually something I didn't put in my notes. I probably should have. I posted about it on Discourse, Discourse.
Friction fit.
Yeah, he'd do that if you wanted to. But the thing is, like, if you look at this guy, let me get this off of here, and look how freaking massive this thing is. So it's not friction fit, but I mean it's
it's enormous. I think it's just cavernous. Vaping Bogan would say it's as wide as your mum.
Should we just do the drip tip stuff together?
Yeah. I think that's a probably good idea. Go ahead.
I also have a drip tip manufacturer to discuss.
Yep.
A guy that I met and reconciled with, I guess, at the Vapors Knoll party, and I bought 2 drip tips for him, and I ordered 3 more.
Sorry, I'm laughing at reconciled with.
Yeah, I was like, what? Did you guys have a,
So this is one of the ones that I ordered. Close up, I think. Yeah, there we go. So that's one of the ones that I ordered right here. It's got some really nice light effect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice drip tip. And then the other one is currently on there, and it's a little bit of a black and orange, and it goes perfectly with the zero sleeve that I sent back, or that I am sending back for refinishing because it's a little dented and scratched.
Mm.
And I actually have him making 3 zero tips specifically for each sleeve that I have. So there's gonna be one in like a blue Raffir, one to fit this green, and then another orange one. And that guy's tips are also pretty affordable. He does custom orders of one, and they're really nice. So that's another guy that you can hit up if you are looking for any custom drip tips. Links are in chat. I think he's like anywhere from $15 to $35, depending on what you want. He does metals and titaniums. He does Raffir, acrylic, wood, stone.
I wouldn't want a stone drip tip, personally.
He also does mod refinishing. So, like, if you've dented or scratched your mod, like, I might send my zero over to him just for a rebrush and a polish and stuff, just to clean it up. So if you have a mod that has gotten a little beat up, you can send that over his way too, and he'll take care of it. Guy's name's Jeff. He's a good guy. And I'm like Brian in that sense. I like the custom drip tips, especially when you're looking at $25 for a drip tip,
right,
from somewhere else, or $25 for custom what you want.
Right.
So,
whatever shape, whatever color, whatever metal, whatever.
Exactly. So
I think it's cool.
Both of those are, and I speak very highly for Omen stuff too, because I've used your Omen tips.
Yep.
So either one of those guys, check them out. They both do great work.
He also makes the kangaroo, right? The one that we were using in the billet box.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He's a big billet box mod. He's got billet box tips, all that kind of junk. Anyway, so I was also, you saw me at the beginning, I was also enjoying my flunker. That's because I'm packing it up tonight and sending it to Sjord, who said he'd like to try it because he hasn't had a flask before, and he also hasn't been flunking, so he wanted to try it. So I think that's cool, and I'm going to use that money and get something else, I think. But it'll be sorry to see it go. But like I said last week, I like it. It works perfectly. The only thing that's weird is I don't think I'm a squonker. I just think I wanted to try it, but I don't think I'm a squonker. Works awesome. Oh, hey Massey, should I show my solution, my bottle thing?
Yeah, because that is an issue with it.
Yeah, I think so. So one of the very few issues that I have had with it is when you put the bottle in. So it replaces, right, one of your in a regular flask. Both of these have 18650s in it, but they replace one of them with a bottle, of course, for the squonker. So when you take the bottom guy out and you thread on the or not thread on, but you put your bottle up in there. If you have one of these guys, just so you know, don't push it up very far. You want it to get in the needle, but you don't want to push it up very far. You want to be able to get like your thumbnail or something at the top of the bottle, so that way you can get it out and refill it. Either by use or something, it worked its way back up. I refilled it like 3 or 4 times, had no problem. But one time I went to go do it, and I couldn't get it in there, and so it actually kind of freaked me out. Like I literally couldn't get it out because this is the only access you've got for it, and you've got a smooth plastic thing in here. So I actually went and found in my house we have Nerf guns. So I went and got a little Nerf gun guy, and I was holding it here and trying to stick it on the bottom and try to pull it out. I stuck it on the side, tried to pull it down. I did all kinds of stuff to try to get this thing out, and I finally, the only way I was able to get it out is I have one of those, I've got a computer repair kit that I've had for a long time, and inside it's got one of those little plunger guys, and you push the plunger down and some little wires come out like a claw grip. and I don't know if that's got a real name or not. But anyway, so
Yeah,
I did
it's the I call it the booger puller
burger puller. There you go.
because if you remember in Total Recall,
In Total Recall.
he sticks it up his nose and he pulls that big old honking booger that's
Yeah.
flashing out. So
Exactly what it looks like. So I eventually got one of those guys. I got the pin, pulled it out the top, and then I was able to. Once your pin's out, then it's got nothing holding the bottle in. It just fell right out, right? So that did eventually work, and I put it carefully back together, and it was fine. But so in order to fix that, what I did is I took some a length of string, and I was like, well, what do I have around here? So I pulled out some of my my bio wick that I used for the rose, which is like an organic cotton string, and I pulled out some of that. I tied it around the top, and then kind of left it dangly hangly right there. So now I've always got something to yank on. Should I say what I said it looked like?
yeah, do it.
It looks like my flask has a tampon in right now, which is kind of weird, but it does work. I kind of want to stop and wait for the chat to catch up to that one. Because I'm sure I'm going to get some shit for it.
Just say hi, Chuffy.
I just got a message from Kurt that said I hear you're talking about me.
Oh boy, he's got his CCI minions on the ears to the ground.
Exactly. So I'm enjoying this from my last night, and Sjord, when I send this out, that's right. Sjord, when I send this out, I will be including the little string for you.
That sign just means this, right?
Yes.
Tonight's show brought to you by Illuminati, because it's a product of the brew world.
Crescent City Clouds in the chat says Flampon.
Flampon.
that deserves a
Off guard. Well done.
Flampon to the universe.
Well done, Batman. That was really good. So I'll be including that in the package, Stuart, free of charge, my friend. So shall we talk news, or do you want to go over the UD stuff?
What do we have for news?
I've got one other thing for news. That hey, Mesty, did you grab those?
I do.
Features?
Ready to go.
So something we've been seeing. So oh god. So the ice sticks, right? The 20 watts came out a while back. Everybody was freaking out about them. They loved them. Whatever. Then they kind of, they got a little wonky, right? But people were saying when the 50 watts came out, they were much higher quality. They were seeming to work a lot better. They were obviously 50 watts, so people were loving them. They had a huge battery in them. Seemed like nothing but pros. However, just this last week, we've seen a lot of examples of people posting saying that they are getting, they're having them explode. And by explode, I don't mean necessarily explode, but they're venting, and obviously that's not cool. So I pulled a few pics from one of the particular threads. It looks like they are, and I'm going to copy just a couple of the links because there's a lot of them, and paste them in chat. So it looks like when they're charging, they're starting to auto fire. Some of them are starting to auto fire, and basically overheat themselves and vent the batteries. And the other thing that they're doing is that apparently they'll even auto fire if they've got any ADDI attached to them whatsoever. So, and they don't need to be charging either apparently. So one guy said that it was just sitting beside him on the desk and he heard it start going, and he obviously took the ADDI off.
This one looked like it melted the carpet or something when it fell.
Yes, yeah. He probably knocked it up. That's exactly what
it was. A Rice Krispie treat.
That or he was cooking.
Right. So. I don't think we need to start like a mass panic because I'm sure hopefully this is isolated, but I will suggest that when you charge any of our devices, no matter what they are, do not do so unattended, and probably shouldn't be sleeping while they're happening either, because that way you can see, when something like this may or may not happen. And this goes for anything, right?
Like yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we just did the charging PSA last week.
Right. Totally. So this just is another example of why you should do that, and this is a particular thing that seems like it's happening with this particular device. Just be aware.
Yeah, and it may just be a numbers thing, right?
Yes.
There's been so many iStick 50 watts that it could just be that there's a couple bad ones, because that tends to happen in products.
Sure.
Thousands of them have sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're probably talking that there's probably more of those than most other devices out there.
At the moment, probably so. So that's what we want to say to nobody start a panic. If you got yours and it works fine, great. Just maybe be careful, a little extra careful with that particular mod.
I think it's safe. And anything that has a battery in it, be careful. Anything that has a LiPo, be more careful.
Yeah.
Not saying don't use LiPos, just be careful with LiPos and be knowledgeable of what you're doing and keep an eye on them when they're charging.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. So I've got the UD stuff to talk about, which I can do now, or Masty, Sean and Masty, you guys want to go with your news or what?
No, you can go ahead and do the UD stuff.
All right. So Ray Lopez is a buddy of ours, and he is tight with the company UD, and they very kindly offered to send over some stuff for us to look at recently. So most of us built out the Goliath.
I didn't just so you guys could fuck with me during the show, right?
I built it, but I need to rebuild it because it leaked like a motherfucker.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And I built mine, and it works. Mine works fantastically. But Masty, how have you found it?
So I ran mine with nickel wire first, and then I ran it with Canthal. And the problem with nickel wire, I was using 28, but the problem is that chamber is really small.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're running 10 to 14 rapid nickel wire, it's very, the airflow is almost nothing, which happened on the other tank that I had done. But so I switched from nickel wire to Canthal, and it seemed to do a little bit better vaping wise, but we'll do like the positives and the negatives here.
Yeah.
The negatives is, holy shit, was there a lot of metal in there. I was on, when I got it, I was on a hangout with these guys, and I don't care if my Addy has given to me brand new by a friend, or it's come from overseas, or I just bought it at a store. I always take everything apart, clean it, put it back together. And first of all, mine had some kind of liquid in it. It had a film inside of it. I don't think it was machine oil or anything like that, because I know what that smells like. This smelled like juice. So I don't know if they had tested it beforehand or what. I don't know. Whatever. No big deal. But as I started cleaning, I usually will look around the holes and stuff like that, and you could tell in the machining that there were still burrs left. Okay, well, some people are gonna say, "Oh, dude, what's the big deal about that?" Well, guess what? If you have that around an area and you have a wide opening, and you're gonna suck that piece of metal up, and you get that thing into your lungs, it's gonna be a bad time. So somebody's echoing, by the way. I think it's Foo. But so I cleaned it as thoroughly as possible, and I took out some chunks of metal out of it, and I showed these guys. I mean, they were big enough to show on camera. So after that, after getting it all cleaned up, put it back together. It's very interesting how the juice control works.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a setting there that you can do from the most juice control to the lowest, and you just twist it and set it.
But
they found the setting only works like halfway, so it's either on or it's off.
No, it works, but it doesn't kick in until halfway through that little gauge.
Yeah, so
if you've got it halfway through, it's still closed.
The movement is very another issue is when you take when you go fill it back up and you unscrew, it actually unscrews I guess you could say the chimney and the bottom portion up, right? So he's doing it right there. And what that does is you have to, if your coils are big, it's gonna mess with the coil and the cotton, because you're unscrewing it. It's kind of like taking the chimney off a K-Fun. So
when you unscrew the guy, what he's talking about is as you unscrew the deck, you get this off. When you go ahead and pull it off, still going. When you go ahead and pull it off, you're pulling out of here. You're pulling off your wicks and your coils and stuff. And even look right there, you got a little flyaway, wicks there that was not like that, right, when I put it in there. So you gotta pat it back down a little bit.
Now that's one of the pluses is that you can refill your tank, you can close off that flow, and no fluid is going to come out.
Right.
You can open it back up and refill your tank. Now, what I did was I just held down the glass like this with the rest of the mod, and I was able to unscrew the top while holding the glass and then just fill it up.
Yep.
I had no problems doing that. With the juice flow control turned off, so you're not building pressure to get it to leak. I just held the glass in place because if not, the glass will move and you'll have juice all over the place.
Juice everywhere.
Basically, I have juice in there right now, and holding the glass, you just go on the top and unscrew it, and then you can screw it back on, and fill it up. But the flavor is really good. Airflow is really good. The ridges on the top. I'm sure they're trying to do. I never really liked ridges like that.
Toast style heat sink.
Yeah, they fill up with shit.
Yeah.
They really do. I can concur with that. I clean out the one ridge in the Ubertute regularly.
And getting you can clean them out, but it's just a pain in the ass. And I'm sure they did that too for weight savings because it is a pretty heavy. Now, what I have noticed, what I have noticed though is I don't want to take your whole review, but what I have noticed is some leaking around the juice control ring. So around the bottom of it, since it's just an O-ring that sits there, there was some slight leaking, but it's not like it's pouring out. It was just some after I had taken it apart and put it back together. But it's too early to tell. I think. I've had it running for a week, so.
Similar to yours, I had stuff in mine. It was not juice. It appeared to be a machine lubricant to me because it didn't really have much of a smell, like juice. You said yours smelled like tobacco or something, right?
Yeah.
Mine did not. But it was some in there. There was some dust and stuff because I definitely took mine apart. I did not see but one little burr in the Goliath. I saw more on the Imp, which we'll talk about in a minute. I didn't see that there. But I will say that I did need to clean it out because it needed to be cleaned out. But besides the funny thing of the juice flow only technically working halfway down that little scale, all that really means is that scale just needs to be shifted over or something, right? Or compressed down so that it's just accurate with the little indicator. But I actually had really good luck with it. I personally am not wild about the whole sub-ohm tank thing because when I vape on a tank, I want a K-Fun or Rose or an Ubertute style vape, which means lower airflow, higher flavor. This guy still manages pretty good flavor, better than the Goblin in my opinion, but with that much air, you kind of have to use a rich juice. So that's why I've got Brown Betty in here because it's got a real rich flavor to it. So even though you do lose some of it, it's still quite flavorful as you vape it. The juice flow thing, when you're filling up the way the way it's designed to, you can do what Mass does, or if you use the two slots in the bottom, the way the Goblin was, you just had a single hole, so you had some positive pressure problems as you're trying to fill it up, unless you had a really thin needle to get in there. This one's got two big slots on the bottom that you can fill up, but you still get some bubble up when you fill it up that way. You just gotta kind of go slower. So it's better than the Goblin, but not as bad as before. I love the fact that, unlike many of the newer ones, you can actually take the deck off, rewick it, rebuild it without draining the tank. That's one of the very few things I've got against the K-Fun Light specifically. It didn't come with a drip tip, which honestly I think is a strange choice because this is a rather unique looking, and I'm being kind, it's a unique looking Addy. You need kind of a bigger sort of drip tip. To me, if I'm paying whatever, $35 or whatever for a good Addy, I want something that's going to look okay out of the box and be able to vape it. Like having to depend on me to have the right drip tip here, charge me an extra 50 cents, right? Throw in a drip tip that looks okay on it, and that's it. That's a small thing, I know, but I think it's useful to say. I love the fact that you got juice flow control, so you can either scale it down or increase it all the way up if you want to. The airflow is good. It's nice and whooshy. If that's your bag, it's probably around the sub tank, wide open. In fact, it's a little bit looser than that. Huh. A little bit looser than the sub tank wide open, and it produces some gobs of vapor if you're ready for it. I mean, it'll just go.
Yeah.
I've been using a nickel wire on this with a lot of success. I did my normal nickel build, which is 3mm 30 gauge dual coil, about 10 reps. It comes out to about 0.15 now that it's been warmed up a little bit. It works great on the DNA 40. Would work on the SX Mini too, I assume. So that about does it for me with the Goliath. Is there anybody else that has anything to say about the Goliath?
I'll rebuild it. soon.
Word.
Yeah, you had a leak on yours, didn't you? I meant like the whole tank.
Couple things. The seal doesn't feel right. Probably just gotta swap O-rings. Also, my build is also way too big.
Yeah.
I did 11 RAV 26 without even really thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it does have like the Goblin. It does have a pretty small little chamber to cram all that in
Yeah,
there.
I had to like really, shimmy my coils around to get it to fit, and probably it was too big. So probably do like 8 RAV or something, 9 RAV 26.
Right. Sure. Anything else?
Hopefully I get it working tomorrow. I'd be curious to take it on the road with me this week.
Sure. The other thing they sent on it was the Imp, and they've got a new RDA coming out, which I think is kind of cool. And I wanted to show something I think is kind of neat. So they have done obviously quite a bit of work to get this deck down, the chamber down specifically, really small. So you can see the McCoys down there. I've got dual 24 in there at the moment of Canthal. And so that ridge that you can see in there is where the drip tip comes down to. So, I mean, there is not much room in there, even though it's a 22mm Addy. It's not as short as something like the Derringer, but it is nice and tiny. But what I don't understand, and I'll show you. I guess I can show you this too. They do have giant post holes in there too. You can see those in there. They're massive. Nice Phillips on top, so you don't have to have a specific Allen wrench with you to redo stuff on the go. So nice tiny. So the point is that they have this nice tiny little chamber, and then they also ship this massive chuff style thing that you put on, and it makes the chuff look. It's actually quite a bit bigger than even a real chuff enough drip top. So you put this guy on there, and it like triples the size of your chamber at this point. Like it's just enormous. The other thing I don't understand is the fact that this thing is rifled.
Yep.
Like
No, man, it has this flavor. It's like the Miller Lite Easy Pour spout.
Right there, it's a good shot there. You can kind of
I
see
can
it.
put that on the end of my AK and get better.
Nub rifle.
This is too big. It's too big to go on the end of your AK.
Yeah.
So this thing is ridiculous. I don't understand this thing. It works pretty well. It would work better if. Well, I'm not going to say what it would have. I said something before it was pretty off color, so I'll keep that off there. But it's really really large. I'm not a big fan. What it does come with though, which I will also show you, is the Adelrin top cap. And so this guy, unlike the other one, actually sits way down, and you can use your own drip tip, and the Derringer one's on there at the moment, and it works pretty well there. One of the cons that I will say about this, besides the weirdo chuff style cap, is the no adjustable airflow, which means there's no single coil in here either. So you are stuck with those things. Now those are very Odin shaped airflow channels, but they are actually wider and taller than it too. So there's quite a bit of air, even though it doesn't look like, you see the Mutation X and all these ones with tons of holes. Not a lot of holes, but that is directed right at that coil, and it works really quite well. It's quite whooshy, if that's the kind of thing you're into. And the thing about UD is their price point, right? I mean, it's hard to argue with not having some of the features that you might find in others, because their price point is pretty awesome for a non-clone vendor. I don't know. To me, this isn't necessarily exactly the dripper that I would choose if I were to go out and buy it. But if you were a cloud chaser person, which is not me, I would prefer to have a single coil option, or at least a way to turn down the air. That's why I don't really particularly care for it. But that's just me. I don't know. Did you guys build this yet? I don't think you did.
I have not built the Imp.
Yeah.
So the downside of that is it holds almost zero appeal to me because it doesn't have adjustable airflow.
Right. I know, and that's tough on me too because I'm not as tight butthole as you are, but I do tend to like on the Derringer, right? I mean, I run that with like 1.5 to 2 holes open, pretty much always.
I'm not exactly in much of a hurry to build that out of everything that's sitting here because of that, though.
Right. To me, I would pick the Goliath over the Imp personally if I was going to choose between the two. This is not dripping, but this is arguably the best experience that I've had with a rebuildable, inexpensive tank like this with big airflow. It's pretty darn good. And one of the things that's kind of nice about it is if you do get some overwicking, it comes down into your airflow. I forgot to mention this a minute ago. It does come down into your little airflow channels here on the bottom of the on the bottom there, right there. So if you get any leaking down your air channel, all you gotta do is put something like a paper towel or something on the other side and just blow through it, and it'll clear it right out. Clear it right out. Where's my settings? Yeah, there we go. So it'll clear it right out, and it works good. Do find yourself a big chunky drip tip that's not going to reduce your flow, and I think you'll like it. That's me with UD. UD? I said UD. I don't know why I said UD.
Ood.
Yeah, well, my inner German apparently coming out there. No, UD. That's it.
Food works.
That's all I got.
Masty, did you get that picture that I threw over?
Nope.
All right, hold on. I'll copy it.
Let's see.
Nope.
I want to do. I was unbelievably tired last week, so I want to do a little bit of follow up on Bash because I just was not on top of things last week. So the first thing is
you're a jerk and forgot people. Yeah.
I did. I am a jerk and I forgot.
Business moding too hard at Bash.
So I went to. I got picked up from the airport by James Martin on Inside Vaping, right? And this is that was on the side of his car, which is brilliant.
Hey, by the way, I could take a tiny bit of credit for this.
He mentioned,
yeah. I worked with him just a little bit. He did a lot of that stuff, though. He did a great job.
Yeah. I was rolling when he picked me up. Like, it was great. And I completely forgot to mention that, even though I meant to, because James was great, drove me back from the airport. Getting to hang out with Joe Litt was great. Getting to hang out with James was great. I'm a little bit upset that Dane from Inside Vaping did not make it.
Boo.
Getting to meet Jeannie K was great. I'm trying to remember all the names that I have to remember now. Of course, Flitz, Nick, Cheeksy were great. Hanging out with broke-ass Doogie Howser was amazing.
Don't forget the TSA.
Broke-ass Doogie Howser.
TSA throwing your zero on the ground.
Yeah. So I didn't talk about that last week either, did I?
I don't think so.
At the O'Hare Airport, my bags got flagged, Grimm's bags got flagged, and Cheeksy's bags got flagged, which is amazing to me that Flitzy didn't get flagged. Because Flitzy had Black Zanu in his bag, which, for anybody unfamiliar, is a gigantic, vapable black dildo with a vibrator in it. And that didn't get flagged.
Yep.
But all of our bags did. So they're going through
That's because they didn't want to see it. They're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
It was the flagpole.
So they're going through my bag, and my zero's in the front pocket upside down. They open up the front pocket. I'm like, look, there's electronic cigarettes in there. I said, there's one in that pocket, some in the side pocket. So she opens up the front pocket, pulls out the zero, looks at the two in the side pocket, and then she puts everything back and flips the bag open without sealing the pockets.
Ooh.
My zero goes tumbling to the ground. I just had this look on my face like, fuck.
I would have been flipping tables, pissed.
Well, this lady looks at me, and like she has kind of this look at me, and I'm like, that's $900.
And she said, move it along.
So I pick it up.
Finger
No,
scan.
she was very sympathetic about it. Like, she wasn't mean about it or anything like that. But I pick it up, and I looked at it, and I inspected it. And this is where I have to give the zero some credit, because there's not a fucking scratch on the thing. I probably would have been flipping out had there been a scratch or anything on it, but there were pretty much no markings, no scratches, no nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Probably a 3 to 4 foot fall, and both the Zero and Ubertoot came out unscathed. So props to them on that one. But it was a really fun time, and I got to hang out with a lot of people, and I got to eat some cheese sauce way too many times.
Italian beef.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
You single-handedly made the stock of Portillo's go up.
Yeah, Portillo's, that's it. I got to eat there way too many times because that's the only place Nick wanted to eat.
That's because Portillo's.
It was good. It was really good food. But
I love Italian beef sandwiches, dude. They're so good.
it was fantastic food. Absolutely great. The Knoll party we already talked about. I already talked about Drip Tips.
Nick, I swear to God, if you come to New York and all you want to do is go to Famous Dave's, I'm going to slap you. And that's real.
I will say that because I'm very interested in this myself. Have you guys seen that documentary, A Billion Lives or A Million Lives? The new vaping documentary that's coming out?
No.
Mm-mm.
So there's a new vaping documentary that some guys
Is this the one that
were at Bash.
These aren't the guys overseas, right?
No, I think they're here because they were at Bash shooting footage.
Okay.
It's called like A Billion Lives. I'm pretty sure it's A Billion Lives. But I didn't get a chance to catch up with them at Bash, but apparently James did. And I'm actually really excited for this because I guess they're having the guys who are making that documentary on Inside Vaping tomorrow night.
Oh, right on.
So I wanted to mention that because I'm really looking forward to catching that episode because I think it'll be really cool to see. Because we tried to get the guys who are doing the first documentary to come on Plumes for a minute.
Do you guys not go to Gino's or a good Italian pizza or a Chicago pizza place?
No.
Oh, come on. I mean, I love Italian beef, but you got to do some Gino's.
John from Craving and Joe from Pure Bacco did order everybody good Chicago pizza the last night.
Okay.
And we ate it around the fire, and that was great. So that was a good time. So I did finally get to have Chicago pizza before I left Chicago.
Good.
But yeah, check out Inside Vaping tomorrow night for the Billion Lives thing. That's going to be really good, I think.
Right on.
It's been a really light week for me though, because the Knoll party kept me busy most of last week into today. But, I don't really have anything new to talk about. I sold the majority of my shit. I did finally get to play with a Top Hat mod.
Yep.
And I sent you guys some pictures of that. And that thing, so the Top Hat mod looks gigantic, but it's so tiny. Like it's actually really small.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to drool over a Melody that happened to be there as well, and I can't wait to get mine. That'll be great. But other than that, I'm pretty light this week. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
True. Okay, I guess we can take this off the screen now.
Because they used to get that pickup.
Okay, so if any of you fellow hooligans in the chat or watching the show follow anything on Reddit or on Facebook or the other millions of places that this picture got posted. Okay, so let's get started with this. A user by the name of rplush posted this on Reddit, this exact picture right here. And, man, it blew up. Close to 1,000 upvotes.
Well, the battery didn't blow up.
No, yeah, the thread blew up. So it was very interesting to watch this play out, okay? And the reason is I already knew that this was a bit of a fib story, okay? He didn't lie. He didn't say that. He just said, Tesla 18650 battery, whatever. And everyone in there were commenting and saying, oh, this battery is in the Tesla cars, and this is what you get when you open them, and all this. And people saying, no, they're using Panasonics, or and they're building the batteries here in the U.S. And there was so much back and forth bullshit going on. But here's the great part. This is fake. First of all, this is not what's in the Tesla car. Second of all, that's not even a real working battery, okay? This battery is handed out when Tesla has car events that they go to, okay, as kind of like a little souvenir. I mean, people were going insane for these Tesla batteries. People did, oh man, they're using the same font as Fastec, CSI Investigation and all that. But what some failed to notice was that right there on the bottom it says teslamotors.com/Detroit 2015. Well, why does it say that? Well, because at the Detroit Auto Show, they were handing these guys out. Okay, so all these people that got all excited because of, we had experts in there talking about battery chemistry and what this battery chemistry did, and it was all over something that wasn't even real. It's a slug. A slug it's the body of the battery. It's got no electrolytes in it, nothing. You can't charge it. You can't do anything with it. And it was given out as a souvenir. So I thought that was great. Yeah, look at all the goddams in the
Machine
chat.
said this battery is in the iStick. No,
Oh
it's not,
my
because
God.
if that battery's in the iStick, they wouldn't be blowing up.
Yeah. It was great to see all the back and forth banter that was going on with people saying, "Oh, these batteries, they're not safe to be outside of a pack because Tesla has or allegedly has a technology which is called it's a material, entoming material,
Mm-hmm.
entomer material that basically has these batteries in a pack, and it goes around it, and in case of a battery heating, it starts expanding, and it has the ability to draw heat away from the battery, and if the battery goes into a thermal runaway, it has the ability to encase that battery and keep it safe. Basically it hardens. Kind of on Demolition Man when, the car fills up with that solid stuff and they get into an accident. So
We haven't had a good Demolition Man reference in this show ever.
I know. There you go. So
3 shells.
So basically, there was people going back and forth all about this battery. Russ posted on Facebook and it blows up, and people are like, "Oh, this is great, Tesla battery 18650." You see it on forums and all that, and no one mentions that it's a slug. I don't know if they were just going along with it. I don't know if they didn't care, but it was great. It was great to see, and this just goes to show, do your research when you're seeing these pictures online. A simple reverse image search would have shown you where the battery came from. There you have it. It was totally a non-working battery. And I don't know if there were so many people on the end saying that, but anyways, no, I'm not getting one of these to test. I had somebody message me and ask me if I was getting one of these batteries to do like an explosion test on it or whatever. Nothing would have happened. So, anyways, next I wanted to talk about this guy right here. Okay, this is the how do you say it? Relic mod? I don't even know.
I don't remember how it's
it.
spelled.
Relic mod. But anyways, this mod right here would have ran you a cool $5,000.
Jeez.
And but you can't get it because they're sold out. How are they sold out? Well, they only made 4 of them. What's so special about this mod? It's a mechanical mod that is made out of an asteroid metal, meteorite metal. So
Does it scroll with it?
Yeah, it comes with a scroll.
It does come with a scroll.
Will it stand by the copper bank of Vaporos?
Yep.
Didn't somebody say that this thing, there's 4 of them and like 9 reviews?
I think
Yeah,
there's 5 of them, but yeah, there's several.
So I went on the site, and let me see if I can find this site here. But basically, on the site, it shows. I don't have it right now. It shows 9 reviews of this thing, and there's only 4 of them available. So
Somebody
there you
said to
have it.
pull up the reviews because they're amazing.
Hang on. Let's see if we can get them going here.
Ankush made a good point. I really want a mech mod made out of Valerian steel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
There you go. If you can pull up the reviews, that's fine, but I'm not gonna do that right now. But anyways, yeah, the reviews were pretty funny, um, and yeah, that was some of them were like, I'm glad I spent my life savings on this mod. Now I can live. And the reviews, no one says who's got which one. Like they won't tell you if they have it or not.
Probably half the
Usually they'll
people don't
post.
have one.
Yeah, I think all of them that did reviews don't have one because people feel stupid to go post a review about spending $5,000 on this fucking mod.
Yeah, but people spend
Uh,
$3,500 every day on Geppettos and shit.
yeah,
That's true.
but they're not from outer space.
So people feel
So,
stupid specifically because it's from out of space.
and you know what? Maybe I should make a $5,000 one and tell them, yeah, it comes from outer space, and if you short a battery, you could send it back into space. So
Are illegal aliens considered from out of space?
it's just,
I mean, it's
Short
not,
it
it's
just
not
right.
far off from some of the stuff, like some of the Otto Carter stuff and some of the Caravellas. I mean, I think the solid silver Caravellas were for $4,500, $4,000, $4,500.
Yep. Yeah, and there's some I've seen some mech mods made out of some other kind of steel. What is that angsty that the knives are made out
Damascus.
of?
Damascus.
Yeah, and those go for some
Yep.
some money. So there you go. But yeah, I figured the battery thing in this mod. Maybe you could take the Tesla battery, put it in the Relic mod. You have something out of this world.
Wait,
So
wasn't there a cult in like Southern California, the Raelians? Weren't they weren't they worshiping that comet or something, or they wanted to take it away?
That probably
yeah,
happened.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Yeah. Aliens. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is and this has been cropping up for a while now, and I've seen it in around local shops and with people and stuff like that. This is more out of the news, more of a talking point, but is the notion, and I'm trying to understand why this is the notion that anything that comes from overseas relating to mods is an automatic clone. Okay, um, here's the deal. Uh, you the people saying these things would be very surprised to find out about all these made in the USA vape companies that's all they boast, and when they see anything that comes from overseas, they just smack it down on Facebook. They're working with people overseas. We talked about this last week with Brandon from Evolve working with a company to basically have authentic Evolve chips in their mods.
Yeah.
Now, this is nothing new because there's been a few Chinese companies that have put authentic chips in devices.
I got to use one
Now,
of those, by the way.
correct, and that was who was that was selling it?
It was Cigar.
A cigar, right?
Neighbors Knoll had them in stock, and they're pretty solid pieces.
Yeah.
You talking about the DNA 40 ones?
Yeah.
The DNA 40. Yeah, and what that did, I think, was allow the manufacturing of a box to be made and put an authentic chip in it, and I don't see what the issue is with that. Now people are going to say, oh well, you're supporting the commie bastards and this and that, but it's funny because they stand behind these companies that are making either mods or chips or stuff like that, and as soon as the company goes and does business overseas and devices come in, parts that are in these mods are made overseas and people have no idea about them.
By overseas, you mean specifically China, right? You're not talking about other
mean,
places.
I mean specifically China. Yeah,
Right.
I mean specifically China, that Asian part, because obviously you could say overseas and say the Philippines.
Right.
Okay. And that's another thing too is I guess it goes both directions because I've seen a lot of talk about, well, this is from the Philippines, so everybody automatically assumes that it's a one-off style
Right.
mod and it's not a clone. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how many clones are made in the Philippines every
Right.
day?
Not to mention
You know?
China's right there, right for the Philippines.
Like, oh, hey, what's up, dude?
Right.
Well, but one of the differences is that shipping out of the Philippines is hella expensive.
Hmm.
Okay, compared to some of the other Asian markets. So that's just something that I want people to think about before you're going to shit on somebody else for having this mod, or get on on your high horse on a no
They
pun
just don't
intended,
know
Sean,
how the
on
world
your
works.
yeah, exactly. They do not know. They do not want to learn how the world works and how business works. I'm going to tell you something. I don't care what the company is telling you about any of this bullshit about, oh, it's a clone, or you have the duty to call them clones, or any device that has anything from overseas is a clone. I'm telling you, that company is working with someone overseas. Why? Because of money. They don't give a shit. Okay, when this company can get this part made for this much, they're going to be getting it overseas. When you start seeing U.S. companies, and I'm not saying this is 100% like this every time, but when you start seeing U.S. companies have these parts and components that are 50% less than any of the other U.S. competitors,
Assembled in the United States.
Right.
something doesn't something doesn't add up. So
90% of what most people own outside of this hobbyist industry was probably manufactured in China.
yeah, and the issue is that I have is that some people will basically blackball and ban and not try a device, which to me is stupid. I would wish that everyone could try every device that's out there, because man, you might find something that you really like that changes your perception about a device that has parts from China or that was made overseas. And not everything that's made overseas is a clone of something.
Hmm.
I think it's a silly argument. And I see it more and more. And I can tell you that there's a lot of companies that people are behind, that in a few months, a few years, will be saying, "Hey, look, we have this Chinese part in it, and it's the best thing ever."
Hmm.
So,
It's not right. It's not that we're sitting here saying go buy a counterfeiter, because
correct.
I don't buy counterfeits. I don't support counterfeits in the industry. I think Brian's the same way.
Yep.
And a lot of us, we look for affordable authentics, but we're in a market where you can get very affordable authentics from China if that's
Mhm.
your price range. You can buy that with an authentic DNA 40. You can get stuff like the UD stuff. You can get stuff like, Beyond Vapes had a lot of stuff made in China.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's so much variety in the market now, and I think a lot of this big call and a lot of this argument probably comes down to the SX compared to the DNA chip.
Yeah.
And they are, honestly, having used and owned both chips, they function differently. They
Yeah.
work differently. They're not clones of each other. It's just a similar idea. Every mechanical mod and every Genesis atomizer is a similar idea, though.
Well, but
Yes.
I mean, there are some people out there that believe that the SX copied what Evolve was doing when it came to you know temperature control, because
But they
as you
function
guys
differently, inherently.
right. Right. But I think the more and more time goes by, you will be seeing that a lot of these temperature control devices aren't really temperature controlling, temperature protecting, temperature anything, because the way that we're measuring it is flawed.
That's
But
also,
that's for later on.
to the same point, that's also saying the first person to ever develop a mech mod, every mech mod after it is a copy. The
Yeah.
first person to ever develop a Genesis atomizer, every Genesis atomizer after is a copy.
C frames.
C-frames.
Yeah.
C-frames are a
C-frame.
perfect example in the high-end world of this. There's a shit ton of C-frames with minor variations that are considered
Yeah.
your own take on an idea. What SX is doing is their own take on Evolve's idea.
Yeah.
And that's what expands markets. That's what
Well,
makes growth. That's
again,
what
it's
urges
it's a
competition.
business. Right?
Yeah.
It's a business. When they see people
Yeah.
buying something that has temperature protector or temperature control put on it, Why the fuck not would they not make something like this?
And let's be honest.
Marcelinos and
Counterfeits are bad for the market. I think we could probably all agree on that.
Yep.
Competition, like what SX is doing with the SX Mini temperature control, is good for the market.
Great for the market.
It forces companies like Evolve to be on their toes because they're competing products.
Well, and there isn't anyone else that even comes close, right? You've seen the 50-watt chips that come from overseas.
Yeah.
And that right there weeds them out. Those things are shit. They don't do temperature control for nothing. I mean, what was that mod? What was the one that had the temperature control in it? No, it didn't do any of it. I mean, it was just was it Smoke Tech that had the mod, and it didn't even do anything. So, but I think the competition is definitely good. But you always hear, oh well, that's competition against taking people, taking jobs from people here because of the competition. But there isn't another company out there, as far as I know, that is as big as Yeehee or as big as Evolve that have each other as competition.
Yeah.
With those electronics.
And competition is necessary for the market. Counterfeits absolutely hurt the market. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I'm sure you could go back and forth. But without a company like Yeehee, Evolve would be sitting as the only person in their field doing something.
Yeah, the funny thing about the clone market, aside from counterfeits being bad for the market, look at the Orchid. I don't think Aethertech made one past the V2.
It did not.
Right, and there's like a V6.
It's like a V6 or 7. Yeah.
They've just approved on it, which is like.
Now, personally, I still disagree with that because it's still taking someone's complete design.
But yeah, you know what I mean.
Counterfeiting. But I do. I understand where you're coming from.
And they're able to do what I guess some manufacturers wish they could.
But it's not even together. Stuff like the Goliath, though, that's moving the market forward. That's providing competition to other people who make tanks.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is necessary. Stuff like that is good. The sub-tanks, the Atlantises. All of these tanks are different. All of these tanks are close to the same, but they're all different, and they all encourage the competitors to change. Look at Aspire. Aspire started using ceramic. The community outcried against ceramic. They switched over to Kanger because Kanger was using cotton. Now Aspire is using cotton. So competition absolutely forces the market to change.
That was all to our credit, right? Though.
No.
Here's the thing. Was something that we were talking about that you mentioned were the zero sleeves. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does Carlos have a press that makes these sleeves?
I don't know.
I'm not sure how they're made.
Okay. So if someone's in chat and they know how these sleeves are made, please by all means. But one of the things that we were talking about was now you have these beautiful sleeves that people like, Sea Death could take and patina and make a beautiful patina or do some alcohol ink on them and stuff like that. And they're great, and the work is, if you want to charge $50, $60, $70 for them, totally worth it.
$150.
Yeah, $130.
Whatever. Okay. Yeah. But for then people to say, oh, no, you don't use that because it's not authentic, because you didn't get it directly from Carlos, is like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, and the expectation is for some people that Carlos make the sleeve, the person who's doing the ink or patina then buy the sleeve from Carlos, then ink or patina it, and then it has to be an authentic sleeve from Carlos that's then customized later.
Oh, fuck those people.
To me, that's ridiculous. To me, that concept is ridiculous because you're paying at that point for the artwork. You're paying for the mod accessory.
The sleeve had to have been forged on the fourth moon.
But that's the kind of mentality that is present and is very prevalent.
Yeah. Especially because waiting for sleeves from Carlos could take months. That's enough to kill your emerging business.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, is he sitting there making these things by hand, or on a machine that that makes them not clones? I mean, that's like saying the Top Hat mods are now a clone because they have a Chinese chip in them. It's like, really?
I love that the Top Hats are using the SX Mini. They're the only C-frame using it.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I love about them.
I think the Tesseract's last list actually had minis in them too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, yes, you're right. One of the few. One of the few.
And that goes for C frames also. I mean, if if you have a frame like this, okay, and you want to do artwork on it or do something like that, are you gonna have to get it directly from them? Because if you do get something that's not authentic and something like that, by all means get it and practice and do whatever you need to do on it. But waiting for something like this, even the sleeves, that's a bit much. So
Just be smart before you cry, clone.
yeah,
Is what we're asking. Use
yeah.
your heads for that one.
And then the other hand, if you got a shop around you and they're putting up, oh look, it's a vapor flask, and they just this is a clone flask that I got to do the big screen on, okay? And some people might feel weird about that. I could give two flying fucks about it because I was never going to take a real flask and
Cut it.
cut it and tear it up because as a modder, I think that's disrespectful to the people making the mods. You're taking something and you're just destroying it to make it something else. Yeah, it's your own mod, but So, anyways, but I have an issue with shops that will list, here's a flask, vapor flask now in stock, $30.
Right.
Without actually saying what they are. So if you have some of those around you, keep an eye out because man, I hate the stories of people buying billet boxes and people buying flask and people buying all these things and what did you expect? You're paying on something that's supposed to be $300. You're paying $40 for it. A little bell should be going off. So keep an eye out for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, tech time, Masty.
I thought we were gonna have our guests come in.
Well, I figured you could set up for tech time,
Okay, you got it.
and it does look like we have a special guest here as well.
Oh, hello. Glad to be on this show today. I decide that we review some Russian vape tech. I, being the nationalistic Russian, we should show off some of my technology, my company's and my country's things.
Wait, who are you? Who are you first?
I am Igor Vipesky! You ask like you do not know.
I'm trying to tell you tell the people who you are. That's what we ask all our guests.
I am YouTube famous.
Yeah, you are.
So today we review the Workforce 12-inch. It's a little bit bigger than me, but I am not mad. It has the 3-inch or 75mm drip tip for my countrymen. It does not vape incredibly well, but it's a very thin drip tip. It's got the stop. Oh fuck me! It's got the retractable drip tip. See, look at you. I'm even in the American unit. Yeah, enough of that shit. Okay, so we have next Russian e-liquid. This is Stoli brand. Oh, that's my hydraulic fluid. Never mind. Okay, so this is the new extra wide chuff top.
Oh.
You see this? Made in Russia, pure 100%. That's toilet paper. Okay, here we go. This is it's toilet paper tube. Oh. Well, at least hydraulic fluid tastes good.
What the hell?
I hope he doesn't go blind. I hope he doesn't go blind.
Oh boy. All right. So on today's Tech Time, brought to you by the Vape Illuminati tea.
And
Wow,
Kansas.
Kansas
too.
And Kansas. I get a trumpets intro. So Fluid Vapor has they're out of, I believe, are they in Jersey?
They're in New York City.
New York. Okay. They came out with a nice little box called the DIY DNA. Gotta click on my screen, make sure I'm showing everything. So this is, as you can see, pre-machined DNA box mod, including everything needed to build except the DNA chip and wire. Simple build, only solder 4 wires and glue in the lens. Everything else mounts up with supplied hardware, Fat Daddy 510 connector installed, blah, blah, blah. So, and yes, as you can see, I got one of the nice big mats here from the Rapper's Knoll. And it's got our logo on it, and my camera's about to take a dump here. So
It's
let's
pre-raspberried.
We should say about those mats with our logo on it, if anybody ends up buying one, 10% goes to a split between the Vaping Militia and CASA.
That is cool.
And 0% comes to us.
0%.
Yep, 0% to us. So, what do we got in the kit? So the kit comes with a Fat Daddy 510, which we're not going to use because it's too thick. You got the box and this color combination. Sean, I don't remember, were they letting you pick different colors? Or?
Yeah, there were multiple color combinations available.
Okay, and this box has some wear on it because this is one of the display units. But as you can see, it's got the holes for the up and down buttons and the fire button. You got your space for the screen. The screw goes there and the screw's there. And on the inside, I've already attached this spring there. As you can see, it's a nice milled box. And you'll see how it goes together. So you got the box, you got the lid. We'll set the lid aside. You're going to need a DNA 40. This is a big screen style one. Okay. So put that there. And these are the other parts and pieces. This is what holds the DNA in place. You have your buttons. Okay, you got a few screws. You have your positive. It looks like a little donut. Little positive copper donut. And you have two different screws. You have, and one of them I already have in place. See if I can show that one. There's a screw that goes into the bottom there. Okay, and that's a metal screw. Okay, so you want to use the metal one for that. And then you have a plastic one that's going to screw in. There's an O-ring that you're going to use, and your screen. I guess you want to call it screen. Glass or plexiglass, okay, and of course your DNA board. So first thing we're going to do is let's pull this crap out of the way, and we're going to build this thing right now. So we'll get to it. We'll try to do this as quickly as possible. We had a picture put up, Anxie or Sean, if one of you guys can grab that picture and show it on the screen, that was posted on Discourse, of a user that put this thing together in 45 minutes. So it's not a hard build, and we'll go through it right now. We'll just build it now. So first thing you want to do is you want to get a screwdriver, Phillips that's long. Long enough. I used this one because it was thin enough to fit through this hole, because you have to get this screw in here, okay, and tightened up, and it's kind of hard to get that from an angle. So it's the first thing I want to put on there. I put this in first and then soldered this on here, and here's why. Something that I wanted to cover is because this is anodized, you cannot use the body as the negative. The conductivity on it is almost 0 to none, as you can see here, okay, on the body of itself. Now, if you have areas that are scratched off, like inside where the screws go, you can see it obviously makes contact, but everything else that's anodized, that's you're trying to go to. So if you try to use this whole body as a negative, basically not use a wire here, just use the wire for the 510. Not a good idea. Okay, so make sure you wire your negative up. All right, now that that's there, so what I did is I took one of the metal screws, put that in there, put the screw through the center, went through here, okay, tightened that up, got it nice and tight, and then I came back in and I used one of my files to scratch a little area of the spring to put a negative. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this negative to the negative of the 510, and then from there go down to the board. All right. So next thing we want to do is we want to put the 510 in because you want to be able to tighten up the nut. And I do not have. I don't think I have my socket in here, but you can use a 12 or 13 millimeter socket to tighten that up. So we'll take the negative lug, and this is going to be a bit of a lengthy tech time. So
Hey, you know what? Hostful, baby.
Yeah, we'll work as fast and safe as we can. Okay, so let's put a nice little bead old solder on there. All right, and
Man, your camera is moving.
yeah, it's because I hit it. There we go. All right, and we're gonna. And you guys feel free to be talking about other stuff while we're doing this, because there's gonna be, you know, a few things that we're gonna be talking about on here. So let's get the negative all wired up. I'm gonna tin this wire, and this will be simple because we'll tin here, and then from here we'll go down to the DNA board.
So there's something that somebody posted on Discourse that we can talk about while you're doing that, since that's a relatively straightforward thing.
Yeah, all I'm doing right now is just the negative, so and everybody can see that. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share this real quick, because and then to kind of do a TLDR as soon as I can find the right window. There we go. Make this a little bigger. So Asagi QD posted this in Discourse a few minutes ago, and he was talking about this guy, and he saw this post. This popped up at his feed. This guy says, "This is highly embarrassing. However, I'm going to share this story to spread the word," because we were talking about battery safety earlier, and I figured this would be useful to talk about. So he had his fancy e-cig, one of those box units, blew up and set fire to my pants. Hilarious, I know. Yeah, so there's the guy who has fire and scorch marks and burns on his legs. But apparently, this guy, somebody set up a GoFundMe for him and whatever, right? So apparently our user, messaged him, and it wasn't the box mod that blew up. It was a random loose 18650 that he had in his pocket that apparently caught on something and vented. So we talked about this multiple times already, and I don't feel like we need to go into it again. But don't carry fucking batteries around in your pockets, people. Put them in a cup. Put them in a case. These cases are like $1. Yep. Put them in a case.
And that's all it takes for people who are not very fond of e-cigs to go after, using pictures like that.
Totally, because and the guy's even saying, "Well, my e-cig blew up." Your e-cig didn't blow up. You were carrying something in your pocket that is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Idiot.
On the note of Discourse, while Massey's doing the 510, I want to, and I'm going to make a thread on Discourse for this, but I want to pitch something to the fans of the show. There's been some talk with us internally about taking the own page as it is, turning it into strictly the own page live, and then moving all the written content over to Discourse, because that's a lot more of like a community-driven, more people can put in content, more people can post stuff, and it kind of lets people seem to want to comment and discuss a lot more there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would move away from WordPress, which is what we're using now, and kind of do a custom website for the live pages and the 4 live shows that we run. I don't know if any of the watchers and anybody who's watching the show are regular viewers of or regular watchers of the own page itself, and read all the written content and watch all the videos that get posted over there. But definitely let us know if you're fine with that going away, or if you would prefer it to stick around. Because if it's something that a lot of people are enjoying, then we'd be more than happy to keep it there.
Right. Right. But it would be easier for us to maintain if it was a single page, and if that's what people are finding if they're finding useful only the live section, then
Yeah.
there's no reason for us to keep up the other one.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
here's the completed grounding lug with the wire going to the negative part of the battery and the wire that'll go to the board. Okay. And I haven't tightened anything up. You could get in here with the socket and tighten that up. I just finger tightened on there. So for right now. Next thing that we're going to work on is obviously you're going to have your 510 center post done. So this is pretty much ready to go. So we can put we can do our assembly of it. Did you get the picture of the guy who completed the box up?
Oh no, that's actually what I was going for, and
I already shared it.
I got distracted. Oh, good. Okay.
We're good.
And Wolftech just said thanks for covering battery charging safety that we talked about earlier today. He said that it's fallen on deaf ears in Reddit. And I mean, when you've got stuff like this, I mean, this sits, my i4 sits right by my display here, and I use it for charging on my batteries. But I charge them when I'm sitting at my desk. I don't just put them in there and leave it. Now, these things, ostensibly supposedly they have safeties built in, so once it hits 4.2 volts, cuts stuff off, blah, 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 blah. But I don't trust that. I mean, even though this is a quality charger, I like to be around, when this thing's running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because things happen. Shit happens, right?
It's too easy to be careless with that stuff too, So real quick, next thing that this kit comes with is a little copper, looks like a little donut.
Not a vaping donut.
Yeah, not a vaping donut. This is going to go on the bottom, and it has this. You need to make sure, very important, that you get this plastic washer. Comes with the kit to put under it, and this is the only part of this whole box that and another thing that we'll cover later is I wish there was, a little bit bigger insulator or something, but you'll see why there isn't. To try to keep, as we saw, there's barely any continuity on the box when it's anodized, but it just, I think something a little bit thicker than this, will probably, I feel a lot better with it. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the plastic screw. You want to make sure that you're using this plastic screw. You'll be able to tell, versus the metal one that holds the spring. And you're going to put it down here. You want to make sure that the way I just soldered this on here, the way that this is facing is not facing to where the screen is. That's another little issue that I have is the screen's very tight in here when you're using the big screen DNA. Like the bend is really tight. So you'll see that later. It's butt up against the screen. So if you can shift it over that way, it'll probably help. And make sure that it's not sitting this way. Make sure you either move it, towards the back or something like that. So.
Massey, there's been a couple people asking in the chat if you could manage to fit an SX mini board in there or M class in there.
Not on these in this configuration.
Yeah.
Because the screen would have to be a little bit bigger here. But there is a little bit of room here. Shoot, let's do this.
We don't have to do it now, but
let's just do some kind of. Here's the SX Mini.
Oh, if you got one handy, cool.
Okay, and this is so you could see the screen size there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the people can see that. So maybe a little bit bigger box. If we took that USB off of there or made a hole for the USB, there's a possibility of it.
Yeah, if you just left the hole for the other display, cut another hole in the side.
Yeah, this clears. You definitely want to have this, not touching anything. Especially, I've seen a lot of batteries a lot of boxes with these SXs that have this butt up against the batteries. You know, you don't want um, you don't want this touching anything. Okay, put some Kapton tape or something like that if it's coming up against the battery, especially if you rip your battery sleeve. Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, there you go. You can kind of figure lengthwise, it does fit. People put these in P boxes all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and when I speak of a P box, this is what I'm speaking of. Okay, so there's this
Give me
side by
one of
side.
these.
So,
Okay, so the P box is a little bit wider. So
I do love a P
Alright.
box.
yep.
It's good size.
So this just in, apparently people are lighting dumpsters on fire about a mile away from my house.
Oh, fantastic.
Maybe you should ask people if they want to come on Plumes. So, all right, so let's go ahead and take your plastic screw and let's get a little
It must be
tricky.
burning
So,
clone.
so we'll take the screw, put it in here, and this will be it'll be hard to show it on camera, but that's all I'm doing there is just placing that there and holding this piece while using flathead screwdriver down here on this screw. And remember, it's plastic, so go easy on threading it. Make sure it's threading easily. Make sure you're not going in crooked. So I just barely have it tight, and what I'm going to do, okay, you see, you can't have it like that, okay, because of the screen. So we're going to push it down like so, okay, away from the screen. And this plastic O-ring, move it, okay, because the screen will butt up right here. You'll see that in a second. Okay, there we go. So now with that there, I'm going to tighten it up. Just, this doesn't need a lot, just enough to get it nice and tight. It's plastic, don't strip it. Okay. All right, so that's it. 3 wires, yo. That's all you need. And the reason is because you're going to be using the onboard power button and up and down. Okay, so really you need battery plus coming in, you need your ground, and you need your positive pin out of the board. Okay, now here's the issue with the screen when it's in here. Okay, if you can see here where it's wanting to bend, let me bring this down. This is let's take this guy off. You want to be careful with this area here of the ribbon. Okay, if you push on that too much or bend it, the wires in there are very small, so you're gonna have an issue with the screen. So there is the screen in place. Okay, and it'll only go back as far as it's got a lip. The box has a lip back here in the back. Okay, that comes up. See if I can show that. That keeps the screen from going any further back, so the alignment is right.
Oh, that's cool.
Front. Okay, yeah. So you can just push it back as far as it'll go. So there you go. You see now why the wire needs to be out of the way. Done. Okay, and always, be careful when you're doing fitment and stuff like that. This is great if you have an old board that you're not using anymore or something like that. I mean, not everyone has DNA 40s laying around, and I don't either, but if you're going to use your actual board, just be careful when you're going in and out. So the next thing is you're going to want to get a general idea of how long you want your wires to be. Okay, for this purpose, I'm not really going to be worried about the length of it too much, but this piece right here, okay, is your cradle for the DNA. The DNA, you want to make sure that you cut the DNA comes with these little rails on the sides, and you want to make sure you cut them down to the normal size of the board. And this piece here has slots cut in them. Okay, so the DNA board will slide in just like this. Okay, it'll slide in, and you'll end up, you can move this around later because you're going to have to basically put your buttons in and line everything up. Okay, so now you can see how there's holes. I don't know if this thing's focused. You can see how there's holes in here that this piece has to line up with, okay, for your screws. And also your buttons will line up, okay? So I'm guessing that I only really need that much wire for the positive. So pull this back out of here. Okay, and what we can do,
Masty, oh my God, Hacks wants to know when we get to the hot glue.
you won't get to the hot glue. No hot glue here. All right, so this guy, we figured we can do it to there. You want one of the things you want to make sure is that you solder this to the back of the board, because if you have it soldered to the front, you only have the height of the power button to play with. So, solder to the back. So you want to make sure you leave enough room to move side to side. So, you could kind of figure, okay, that much wire, you got your ground, and now you still have to be able to, just test this stuff before soldering it, so you don't have to redo it. So you figure, okay, there should be plenty of room for the wires. So we'll just cut this guy here. This guy's probably gonna end up like somewhere around here, and you want to leave a little room there. All right, strip these suckers. Man, this is exciting. This is the first tech time that we've actually done from beginning to end build.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody still left in the chat?
I think we lost a couple people, but we still got.
Only
light
important ones are
bulbs.
still here.
The bulbs above my head decided they were tired, and they just randomly dimmed. I thought my power was going out.
They're
No.
tired.
I just put these in a couple months ago. Fuck.
After my
They,
my power surges last week, I bought a UPS for my computer and my media.
My bulbs must be clones.
Yo, I hear Tesla has got them new battery banks for your home.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have these little tube lights?
Oh, you mean you don't have government light bulbs? I heard somebody talking about them being called that. Government light bulbs. I'm like, what the hell are government light bulbs? Oh, those compact fluorescent things that the government's making you get.
No, the tube lights.
No, that's what I was asking, if you had the government
The
light
ones that
bulbs.
make an awesome noise when they break.
Yeah, I want to change out all the ones down here with LED tube bulbs eventually.
All right. So I've already kind of soldered this for the DNA board, and this is where the stuff comes in handy. So I'm gonna chuck this guy up on here, and you can stand your board up. Okay. This is where these nice vices come in handy, and man, this is really tricky with the camera in the way and the
You're
light.
doing really well though.
We make it happen. Okay, so I hope you can still see that. I'm just gonna grab this here. And we're gonna. This is a pretend wire. All right.
Yeah, the jury's still out on 26 gauge as well, for me, I think, as a side note. I redid my 226. I've pretty much always used 28. I'm unsure still
The
how it
extra
feels.
ramp up dude, it ruins it.
Nice mute.
I wrapped about the same as I did before. It just takes longer to heat up, and I'm unsure about how I feel about it in general.
Yeah, the nice thing about those, you get an extra couple of wraps too to vaporize more juices.
And the thing is that I chain bait my tanks. I don't mind a meh first hit.
I
Mhm.
use a DNA though, so I don't really. I mean, it's pretty much always 8 to 10 wraps. This is 1.3 ohm in comparison to the 1.7 that I usually have.
Now, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that, obviously these are marked as ground and out. Okay, so your ground is going to be here, and your positive pin out is going to be there. Remember, they flip when you're upside down, so your out's going to be over here. Now, people are probably saying, well, why didn't you wire the board in first and then wire everything else? It's a little hard to do that when that's in place because that's got a plastic screw in it and all that. So, you could always wire the board in and then do these individual pieces off of it. You could probably get a shorter wire length and then put it all together. So it's just preference on how you want to do it. Just take your time. This is really awkward with this. Mind you, if I'm having issues soldering, it's because I can't get up close to it, and I want you guys to see it. So
That arm hair dough.
for real.
Arm hair in HD.
His pores are kind of open.
Let's see. Let's try to put this in.
You've done soldering 101.
Mm-hmm.
So solder it however you can most easily solder it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is basically not being on camera.
Yeah, people don't have to see you solder the thing.
Let's try this.
You've already done that.
Okay, well, yeah, so I won't show it. If you see it, you can see it. If not, tough nuggets. Now you want to make sure you stay horizontal to this. You don't want to go up on it because then it won't fit in the frame. Quit moving. Mhm. Like that engineering?
Spider Invader says we're all gonna chip in and get Masta no for his arm hairs.
Seriously? Damn arm hairs alone. They didn't do anything to you.
Worse, said Harry Moose Knuckles.
hmm
No high rolling. Alright, that one's
They can
done.
fuck off.
Seriously. You want girly hands or you want man hands? Get the fuck out of here. And I'm also using 20 gauge, okay, for the soldering. For those people that like to point shit out, you can use 20 gauge for the DNA. Don't buy into this bullshit that everything has to be 18 gauge, okay? If you don't believe me, go look at the DNA spec sheet. Thank you.
Thank you. Come again.
So, we're wired up, and we're gonna push this thing through here. Okay. You have everything
Push that a
on
little
there?
farther away from me, Mazzy. There you go.
Yep. All right. Okay. Okay. So now what you want to do is you want to you could do a quick power up battery test. So let's go ahead and do that before putting everything together. Just make sure nothing's touching. Yay, it doesn't work. Let's check. Let's check. This is a power. I did have one of these with a bad DNA screen, so I might have picked that one. Let's see here.
Womp,
Just want
womp,
to check the.
womp, womp.
Adventures in on-camera live modding.
Oh, battery's dead.
Oh.
Maybe if I grab a battery that would
Is that one of those Tesla ones?
juice. Yeah.
Things just got more interesting.
Hopefully, this tech time makes up for all the other tech times that everyone has missed.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I have the screw, apparently, too far in. That's good. It's good to find this stuff out. Okay, so here's what's happening. I think the plastic screw in here is protruding down below, so might have to loosen this up some. I don't like that.
Is that shit you don't like?
I don't like that at all, that it has to be loose. We can easily fix that real quick and we'll show you how to do it, but let's see if that fixed the issue. Oh, I'm still not making contact, so let's loosen it up a little bit more.
Now there it is.
Yep.
Now it's gonna be like a zero, right? You gotta tighten up a screw to take the battery out.
Well, no, here we go. Here's how we're gonna fix this, okay? So we're gonna take the screw out. Okay, this is good. This is good that this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are gonna run into this shit and not have anybody to talk to. So I took that out, get the screw out, and we're gonna grab one of my files. Not that one.
Sherman the Great. I think
on
that's
ground to the ground.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna file this down a little bit.
Yep. Sherman the Great guessed it.
What's that? That the screw was poking out?
Yep. No, you
Yep.
can't you just trim the screw? I was like, yep,
Yeah.
you got it.
And I don't want to necessarily cut it.
Go slow, right?
Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this through here, and this would probably be a better idea. Put this on through here, and tighten it up. So that way you can just barely have it sticking out. Okay? And then now shave it down so that way you don't mess the threads up while doing it.
Ooh, that one sounded sad.
Yeah, I did. That was a sad fart, man. That was a womp 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 womp.
By the way, Everett said that's the sign of a real modder fixing shit on the fly without a post to open PV.
Yeah. Alright, so I think I got most of it. I mean, we could do one of these since it's plastic. Don't try this at home, folks. Yep. Melt some of it off. Okay, and then once it's melted, you can finish it off with a little bit of the
Did
file.
somebody make a Lord of the Flies or Lord of the Files joke? I hope so.
Let's pull
No.
this out. Alright,
I'm good.
screws out. Let's put this sucker back together. I guess I should have tested that before going. I mean, we literally just decided to do this for tech time about 5 minutes before.
Well, somebody made a comment about was Matt soldering during the show? Like, come on. Of course he is. He does that all the time.
Medic.
Yeah, that's not uncommon.
No. Historically, you've been building minis or something like that. But
Oh yeah, well, you mean
today you're prepping.
During the show? Yeah, I was just getting the small stuff out of the way. Okay, let's give this another try here. Get in your hole. Mind you, I have to hold the screwdriver at a special angle. Oh, you son of a bitch. That's the problem with the plastic screw is okay. So now that we got that in there, let's make sure that the wire is facing down. Let's tighten the rest of the way up. Okay, let's do the El Testo again. See a little bit of plastic. Okay, it's under. Yay!
Yay!
Works. There you go. So if you have a problem, fluid. If you're watching this, make your damn screws smaller. Okay, so now that you have that, motherfuckers that make me do this shit live and then having issues. Come on now. Hey, it could be a tolerance issue with the screw.
Yep.
Okay, so you wanna take your buttons, and this is. I tried to put most of these in by hand, and I got frustrated with it earlier. So easy, you just hold it, go by the hole, like this in an angle, because it's a nice it's a tight fit in there. Okay, and put the buttons in.
Especially if you have man hands.
Yeah, seriously, big old sausage fingers. All right.
Oh,
Dang,
shit.
full effect.
Damn, foo.
That thing must pull like, what is that, like 20 kW when that thing comes on?
All around Manhattan, everything just dimmed.
All right, so we got the buttons in there. Keep it tilted in one direction.
Get my sub bumps off there.
And let's bring this sucker down into here. Now we're gonna have to play around with the wire here in a minute, and we'll do that later.
Oh yeah, so there's a good reason to have it nice and short. Besides the fact it's a good idea to have it short.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We can rearrange that in a minute. So, okay. So you got everything lined up. All right. And then you want to use these screws. Now, I put these screws in beforehand. Okay. So before doing through this, because they were a little tight, so you want to do it, So let's put these guys in, but we're not going to tighten them all the way. All right.
Carl Chris Kent said, Mass can apparently build a DNA 40 in the time that it takes me to rewick and rebuild my rose with nickel bar.
All right, so we'll put these guys in, not all the way, okay? And what you want to do is you want to play with, make sure that the button bounce, okay? That's the bounce back of the button is good. So you have a so you don't have a stuck button situation, and you also don't have a rattle. Okay, so that seems pretty good.
Wait, you're not supposed to have a rattle?
Yeah, no rattle.
Like this?
I thought that was a feature.
It is a feature, undocumented feature.
Yeah, it's like battery rattle, but it's button rattle.
It's like battery rattle, but you can't do anything about it.
Holy shit. My wife is sending me pictures.
More things burning?
Yeah. Like, majorly burning.
Fabulous. Oh.
Okay, So there's the button spacing, good. The up and down, okay. Now, for your screen, what you can do is you can take this wire and you can actually leave it in place, or when you make it shorter or whatever. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna tuck it down below. Let me just move this off camera so I can see.
You're gonna tuck it like Rion?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, so I just tucked it back into here. All right, and you can do the same with these guys. This one I'm not too worried about. I can leave up here these guys. Okay, if you want to make it nice and pretty, you can tuck it down in there. Now, important part here. What holds the screen in here is, oh, you motherfucker, you better not have fallen off. Okay, no, there it is.
Uh-oh. You lose your pet, yeah.
It's this foam piece, okay? So don't throw this away. This is what holds your screen in. Now, as you can see, we're almost done here. Hang in there, guys. So you can see the bend of the box here. You want to make sure that you carefully push the screen down. Yeah, because you don't want to rip that. Okay.
This would be, when I was building it, this would be where I would break the screen. Right now.
Yeah. See, we need to move the. I need to loosen this up real quick and move the O-ring over just a hair. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Moved it over. Going back. Tightening it up.
Warm it up.
You still see that there? Okay.
Make it a 10.
That's a 10. Okay. There's your screen. Screen placement good. Now you're going to take your foam. There's your foam holding the screen in, okay? That's it. Now, you want to take your plexiglass. You get the damn film off of it. And you glue this part in. I'm not going to glue this in right now, just for time purposes. Take your screen. It actually fits in there kind of nicely. I should have left the plastic on it, but okay. All right. And last but not least, the battery. Okay. Just check, make sure it works. Ooh, now this is interesting. Look at the screen size.
Maybe it is the small one.
Maybe it is for the small one. That's weird because the small one.
It looks too tall for the small one, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it was.
I mean, everybody knows there's a W after that, but.
Yeah, that's really weird. Maybe maybe it is for the small one. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Because the small one, there'd be a little bit of a gap. I mean, whatever. Don't use a big screen then. Yeah, I don't know. Because here is the difference in the. I mean, the screen lengths. Yeah. So maybe it is for the small one. Oh well.
Works fine with the big one.
Yeah. Who needs that W anyways?
Working as intended won't fix.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure your buttons are working. Buttons are working. All right. Now, of course, you put your lid on, and let's.
Gonna bring the camera up and have a vape.
Well, yeah. Here's another issue too. Is
nothing sticking there.
Nothing holding this lid. I mean, it is tight. It's not gonna come off, but I mean, it'd be nice if there was, some kind of. I mean, it's hard to do a magnet on here.
Yeah, it's not much room for a magnet.
So, but I mean, I'm.
There's some Scotch tape. Hold that right on. Nice.
Yeah, you got it. Just put
Duct
some
tape, baby.
on there. Yeah. So, all right, let's get an Addy and let the vape at.
If it doesn't move and it should, WD-40. If it does move and it shouldn't, duct tape.
Let's hit it.
Hot glue.
Corey Eagle said, "Hey, you missed the beginning. Can you start over?"
Yeah. No problem. All right, let's crank this sucker up.
Go, 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 go.
Waving so hard the W just got scared.
Yes.
Works.
You want to
Yes.
pull the camera up and talk about the build?
And it does work. Talk about the build, the nickel wire build. Oh, you mean
No. Talk about the build. Pull the camera up and give your thoughts on the box.
Yeah. So I can give my thoughts right here too.
You want to do a little vaping on the box?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's do that. Give me a second while I switch the camera.
Do, 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 do. What do you think about the buttons mask? Nate Jones is asking.
The buttons are nice. I mean, they use the onboard of the DNA, so it'll feel just like every other thing that uses the. I take my head off the damn light, but so yeah, I mean, it'll just feel like everything else that uses the buttons are nice. They're machined aluminum buttons, so you know.
I like the fire button placement right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. It's a very small box. It works. And as you can see, I mean, it took us, 30 minutes, even with the, less than that, no, 15, 20 minutes, even with the issue with the screw. So, you know, I don't know, I like it. So it is for a small screen version. Note to self. Even though, I mean, obviously if you're, you're worried about what it looks like, you could see that if you want to put a big screen edition in there, it'll work. It'll show you the important stuff, right? The battery, voltage, the ohms, the temperature.
And it just reads in volts, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So now that
it's doing temp.
No, it's got a V instead of W. I was just joking.
Oh yeah. And let's just make sure. Yeah. So you can still see the screen when it's locked.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, and right or left mode. I mean, so.
So now that you've built it, though, how do you feel about the build and the cost and all that stuff?
What's the cost of the box? I don't remember.
$80, I think.
Okay, so for $80, I think it is worth it because you can have the box for $80 and the board for $40. So you're looking at $120 for a DNA device that you built yourself. So now, here's the thing: people are going to say, "Well, I can take a P box.
Yeah.
I could put this in there." I guarantee you, it's not going to be. I'm not going to say it's not going to be as easy, but placement of the DNA screen, cutting of the DNA screen hole. Now you're getting advanced, right? So if you're that advanced, you're not going to have an issue building a box and cutting the holes. For a beginner, I think this is a great kit. It comes with everything that you need. I mean, I just proved that it works for a big screen. So, the wiring of the DNA, it's 3 wires. You don't have to mess with up, down buttons. Don't have to do any of that. I like it. I mean, I think it's definitely worth the $80 for everything that you get with the box. Is this a milled box? Milled buttons? No rattle.
So James asks if the price of building the box, he'd be better off buying a Vapor Shark for $150 instead of the $140. And
well, it's not $150 though, because you have to buy the RDNA in order to get the replaceable $650 to really make it, eye to eye, right?
But I just want to say that this isn't for necessarily somebody who's just looking for a cheap DNA.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like this is for somebody who's interested in building their own box, but does not have cutting tools and does not have the general technical know-how to be a full-on modder. I could have sent mine over to Mass to have him build it, but I kept mine because I'm kind of interested in taking on the challenge, and I don't have the ability to cut screens, and I don't feel like gluing in chips and all that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, $120 to have the opportunity to do the build kit and to have the experience is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That you built it at the end of the day. I know that's not for everybody, but I think the whole point of it is to let people experience the build themselves.
And also, I mean, you have your options. You have to kind of like a box style. I mean, this is a perfectly square box. The 510 fits perfectly in the middle of it, which is nice that they did that. I didn't use the Fat Daddy because they're thicker. I just used the Veritube one. Okay, so
No
there again,
pimpline from the Hammond box.
no pimpling. There you can tell, that even a different 510 works. Okay, and again, you can, if you had this style box and you wanted to get even more complicated, you can do two 18650s in this size, because in the P box you can do that. I mean, here it is sitting next to the Squonk flask, so it's it's actually smaller than the flask. But for for what you're getting of a machined aluminum box with a cradle for the board, I mean, you saw how easy it was to put that board in there. No hot glue. Everything's in place, not moving. Using onboard buttons, and don't be scared to use onboard buttons. And they're perfectly fine as long as you get that bounce, so it bounces back.
Yeah.
When you tighten it up, I mean, there's many, hundreds of mods that use the onboard buttons. So, it works.
As far as people asking when they're going to be available, I thought that they were going to be available already. I'm going to reach out to Fluid and try to get a date when they are going to be available.
Yeah.
Somebody said it's supposed to be up Wednesday. I thought that was last Wednesday though.
There's a picture of the box, DIYNA.
But yeah, so it's a cool project, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything out in the market right now that that has that offering. And if there is for the same amount of money or less, please let us know. But for a nice cradle, easy to wire up. Not bad.
I think I'll agree that the door isn't perfect.
Yeah, the door needs some work. I mean, if you just pop it,
And I think
it's not gonna
my
come all the
door
way
is
off. But
looser than that one.
is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it out here just to check. So my door is, if I put it up like this,
Yeah.
and barely
Yeah.
tap it, my door's coming off. It
And,
definitely locks in place, but it doesn't take much.
I don't know what they could do to to tighten that up, because you're talking about something like the billet box that has a sliding piece, but the billet box uses that ball bearing
A ball bearing.
that pushes up on it. I really don't know. I mean, this thing is so thin to put magnets in here. Then you'd have to have a place in the box to put the magnets. So, but I mean, that's a clean build. You clean up your wires, whatever. But this is, and also this does not use the charge port. Okay, so there is no place for the charge USB charging board for the DNA. So you do have to be pulling the battery in and out of this. So obviously that would add more space, more length to the box. So not bad.
Right on.
That's it then, yeah.
That is it.
Cool. Well, on that note then, it's about time to end.
Indeed.
All right.
Thanks for sticking around, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody have a good day. We will be back to your regularly scheduled guest-filled program next week.
Yeah.
Word.
Peace.
Thanks, y'all.
Peace.